Publication presents The Story of Matthew by Helen Jeffrey. Episode 5, Matthew's Feast.
Anna, what are you looking for?
Now, where did I leave that? Oh, here it is. This jewelled comb. It'll just finish off your appearance. Oh, you've got lovely hair.
Oh, leave me alone, Anna. I can't be bothered.
What is wrong with you?
Anna, I'm just so tired. I wish I could just go to bed. All that food.
Oh, now, don't talk nonsense. If you can't help get ready a feast at your age without getting in a state, oh, it's a poor future for you. Now, stand still.
Why don't you go and worry Matthew?
He doesn't need anybody worrying him. Your brother knows how to dress for any occasion. You'll see, he'll be the best dressed one of all today.
It won't be hard to be better dressed than a group of fishermen.
Now, Miss Rabeth, don't talk that way. Your own cousin is a fisherman, and none the worse for it.
I know, I'm horrible sometimes, Anna. I wish I could just go back. I feel...
I have no time to listen to that sort of talk just now. The guests are beginning to arrive. You should be with your brother. I must see to the food. Now, come on. Give me a kiss and try to cheer up.
What would I do without you, Anna?
Oh, go on. Hurry away, Rabeth, and enjoy yourself.
It's a splendid feast, Matthew.
There must be 50 people here, even apart from the outsiders who'll just come along to watch the fun.
Your wife looks as if she's enjoying it too, Jacob.
Naomi? Ah, yes. She's over there with the Acher women. But what a mixed crowd you've got here.
What makes you say that?
Well, all those fishermen. They're rather like fish out of water in a house like this.
Here, look at that big man staring around him. I bet he's never seen anything like this in his life.
Oh, that's Simon Peter.
Oh, we know Simon well. He's been a fisherman in these parts long enough. But has he got a new name? Peter.
Jesus gave him that name. It means a rock.
I can see why he called him that. He's a bit big and rough.
That's not what Jesus meant. He meant Peter would be steady.
I wouldn't say that's the sort of reputation he has around here.
But that's what Jesus is going to do for him. Make him steady.
If he wanted a steady man, why didn't he choose one, instead of having to change people as soon as they join him?
What's he going to do for you, I wonder, Matthew?
I hope he'll do a lot for me. I hope he'll make me more loving, warm, more human.
You're going to love those fishermen, Matthew. I feel as if I can smell the boats.
I keep expecting to see fish scales on the floor.
I'm beginning to love and respect them already, Jacob. These men are my friends.
Jacob.
What is it, young Amos? What's bothering you?
I was just wondering, are we going to have any music?
Brought your pipe, have you? Well, what do you say, Matthew? It's your feast.
Yes, I think we might.
Well, let's get started right away then. I've been practicing this new tune for ages.
So, you're little Rabeth. I've heard so much about you.
About me?
Oh, that brother of yours is very fond of you. Maybe you didn't realise that.
Oh, he's very kind to me, you know, Judas.
So he should be. What would he do without you?
He doesn't seem to need me now. He's got so many other friends and other interests.
Is that how you see it? But if he wasn't sure that he could rely on you, he wouldn't be free to follow his new life. Don't let him down, Rabeth.
I'll try and help him, Judas. And it's good to know he has a friend like you in the group.
Oh, well, I think Matthew and I have a lot in common. I think we're headed for a high position in the Jesus kingdom.
Oh, Matthew said not to talk about it.
And very wise of him, Rabeth. And you're a good, loyal girl to do as he asks. But it's safe enough with me.
Still, someone might overhear us.
No, they're all listening to the music. This little chat, it's as if... This little chat It's as private as if we two were alone together.
Oh, I don't think that...
Of course we're not alone together. We're under the eye of that servant of yours the whole time.
Anna? Well, she looks...
That's the worst of these family servants. They never know their place, especially when a girl like you is supposed to be a mistress. Don't let her dominate you. Oh, here she is coming over.
Oh dear, I wish she wouldn't.
Miss Rabeth, I think we need to come...
Shh, Anna. Don't interrupt the music.
But Master Matthew wants you to come
My
over
brother
and-
isn't thinking about anything but his pipe at the moment. Please, leave me alone.
Why, Miss Rabeth? I just know Matthew wouldn't like you being
Anna,
here.
please. You heard what I said, now leave us alone.
Well done. If you let her get away with it, you'd never have any freedom. You know that, don't you?
Yes, but I need Anna's help a lot. I mean, look at this feast and look...
Of course. But help is one thing, and domination is another. And I can see Anna needs watching. Don't start worrying, she'll get over it. I'll be interested to see how things are going next time I come.
Next time? You're coming back?
I'd like to, but it's for you to say. May I?
Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Rabeth. Did you sleep well?
I did indeed, thank you. But what are all these papers and scrolls?
Oh, I've been looking up some scriptures, prophecies about the Messiah, you know. I find them terribly interesting.
Oh, who on earth has set you off on that line?
Rabeth, some people are beginning to think Jesus is the Messiah.
Oh, Matthew, that's going a bit too far.
But these prophecies, he fulfills some of them remarkably.
Which ones?
Well, to start at the beginning, though he's lived in Galilee since he was a small boy, he was actually born in Bethlehem. And you know the prophet Micah said the ruler would come from Bethlehem.
The ruler? A carpenter's son?
And then, just before he started his public ministry, John the Baptist came declaring that God had sent him to be the forerunner of the Messiah. He wore exactly the same clothes that Elijah the prophet did, a tunic of camel's hair with a leather girdle, and Isaiah foretold that before the Messiah, Elijah would come back. And there's another thing.
All right, Matthew, all right. You've convinced me.
But this is very, very interesting. I'm not sure whether I've worked out the full meaning of it yet, but from Abraham to David to the time when our people Israel were carried away by their enemies into slavery, there were 14 generations. And there were 14 generations from the beginning of our slavery until now.
Is that so?
But Rabeth, it must mean something. I'm writing down all these things.
Good idea.
And I'm going to write a sort of diary of the things Jesus does and some of his teaching. Do you know what he was saying the other day? He said... You're not listening.
I'm not very bright this morning. I need a cold drink.
Yes, go and get one from Anna, and then I'll talk
Matthew, where is Judas's home?
Judas? I don't really know. He comes from somewhere near Jerusalem.
Has he brothers and sisters? Or his mother and father alive?
I don't know. I've never asked him. He could even be married for all I know.
Oh, no, surely not.
Well, Simon Peter's married. Why not? Lots of people are at his age.
You're not. And somehow, I don't think Judas is married.
I'm always telling you, Matthew, but you never heed me. Relax. Jesus has everything under control, you can be sure.
But Judas, if the religious teachers, the scribes and Pharisees, if they're criticising Jesus for being a friend of tax collectors and sinners, it must be because of me.
What, you claim you're the only sinner in the group?
I'm the only tax collector, that's certain.
But who cares what the Pharisees say? Not Jesus, anyway.
Well, what did James and John say when the Pharisees complained to them?
Well, they didn't have to say anything. Jesus answered. He knew what was going on. I told you.
What did he say?
He said people in good health don't need a doctor but people who are sick, and that he didn't come to call good people but to call sinners to repent.
Well, that should have satisfied them, but I don't expect it did. Probably having him to the feast at my house wasn't such a good idea after all. The Pharisees are against him as it is, and it's a pity to add to his...
What an old worrier you are, Matthew. If Jesus didn't want to come to your feast, he could have stayed away, couldn't he?
but I'm really glad he came. No one else could have explained to Jacob and the others what his teaching is like, but now they've had a chance to hear it for themselves.
Let's get a bit closer to Jesus. He seems to be saying something important. We don't want to miss anything.
So listen carefully to what I have to say to you all. I'm sending you out, 2 by 2, to preach. Go early to your own people, the people of Israel. Tell them to repent, for the kingdom of heaven will soon be here. I am giving you authority. Use it to heal sick people, to cleanse people of leprosy, to cast out devils, to call people from the dead. Freely you have received, freely give.
See you again when we get back, Matthew. Sorry I'm not going with you, but it's certainly going to be an experience. Raising the dead. That will really be something. I can't wait.
But we're being sent out to preach. Maybe people won't like to be told they have to repent.
Well, that's when we need to cleanse a few lepers and cast out some demons. Then they're sure to accept us.
I wonder.
Who are you going with, anyway?
Thomas.
Oh, 2 of a kind. You'll not raise many dead people.
I don't expect we'll see any.
Very likely not. Thomas is far too cautious to get involved in anything sensational like that. And what's more, he's another fisherman.
I don't care.
But Matthew, they really are stupid.
I used to think that, Judas, but I rather like some of them now. It'll be a chance to get to know Thomas.
Well, I wish you the joy of it. Although I'm not much better off. I've got Simon the terrorist on my hands.
I don't think it's fair to call him that now. He's changed.
I hope so. I sometimes think you're changing too, Matthew.
I hope so.
Well, I don't mean to change. I don't need to.
Meantime, what are you going to do with the money?
The group money?
Jesus said we weren't to take any.
So he did. I'd forgotten. What do you suggest to do?
Why don't you give it to Jesus?
To Jesus? That would be the last thing I'd do with it.
Why? Don't you trust him?
Well, I know he wouldn't steal it for himself. It's not important enough for him to do that. No, he'd probably give it to the first beggar he met.
I don't think so. He has something far more valuable to give to beggars.
Matthew, nothing is more important than money.
I used to think that, Judas, but I've changed. I remember saying something like that to Rabeth not so long ago. But I don't think that anymore.
Rabeth? Yes. I must go up with you again sometime when you're going home. I'd like to see her again.
Yes, maybe sometime after we come back from preaching. I expect Thomas is looking for me now.
I don't see Simon anywhere about. He probably doesn't want to go with me, but we'd better get it over with. And frankly, I'm not sure the whole thing is worth the effort.
In Matthew by Helen Jeffrey, Matthew was played by Mark Clanny and Rabeth by Lauren Hutchison. Anna was played by Jenny Erskine, Judas by John Lander and Jesus by Paul Bailey. Mervyn Shaw played Jacob and Mark McCartney was Amos. The play was produced in Commission Studios in Belfast by Colin Flanagan. Episode 6 is entitled Feeding the Hungry.